The scene starts on a slow, sterile morning. We got the LCE trio getting ready for a new experiment. Alyssa went out to grab some documents but was immediately attacked. The whole department is now under fire by a mysterious individual. But just like American police, we cut to a few hours later. Unless the assailant is actively waiting around, those guys are dead. The sinners are waiting around for Saudi to give us the next mission, only for her to show up missing an arm. We are being ambushed by the Thumb, and the headquarters is under attack. So Saudi boots up the teleporter, but something is banging against the truck.
Oh, it's fine. The truck is made from P-Corp Singularity, so it should basically be indestructible. That would be true if we didn't have a budget model.
Why would you even cheapen out on the main crew? Speaking from a pure business point of view, having a guy that can literally revive the dead is infinitely more valuable than an expensive truck. Heck, I'd strap him to a color fixer if it wasn't against HR. But the truck caves in and we meet the Thumb apprentice. You can't see it, but he's holding our little bus driver hostage, using her as a... Damn! Ryoshu does not care, because this is Ryo Never Duck a Fade Shu, and she's excited for her Canto 9. She reassures us that no one will hurt Karan, and immediately got to clashing. Personally, this fight was kinda stupid. I get that unbreakable coins are for animation, but these guys still hit like a truck even after breaking the coins. The others still hesitate to go all out. But then, we get to see the first nurse father, Valentina. The thing about the Thumb is that they are super abusive, for no reason. The first time we ever see the Thumb, they were shooting at us, but then, as if we didn't even exist, this woman had her tongue cut off because she missed and said a bad word. Valentina just started abusing this guy both physically and verbally, but Ryo Never Duck a Face Shu decided to rage bait her, and if I was Dante, I would be looking at her like, bro, we cannot beat these guys. My god. At first, I thought he was injured from their previous fight, but he firmly reassures us that it wasn't his blood that stains the fit. Which leads us to a mini flashback.
Did I just catch you having fun?
All of a sudden, her eyes started to bleed. But instead of jumping her, she allowed us to teleport to the research base, and due to plot reason, Virgilius had to stay behind. But when they finally arrive at the research base, we can see that everyone is dead. So we had to get some info on these guys. Who are these nurse fathers and what did they want? Yeah, I don't know. Turns out Ryoshu lost her own memory, so we had to go off pure trial and error. Oh, but hold on. Someone's under the rubble. They find Alyssa heavily injured and with a screw in her chest. This is a special weapon that requires a password to remove. So the only thing she can do now is point us towards the survivors, and we promise that we will come back to save her. That's when we meet the 6'2", but that's taller than me. And Moses, who, I don't know if it's her ability, but she can find out who you are and your past by just looking at you. But that doesn't matter, because my dog Hohenheim is back. And to add to the hype, Engdu is here. I'm probably one of the 5 people to care about this, so let's move on. They all came up with a plan. We kill all of the monsters and abnormalities to clear a path, repair the power system for backup to arrive, and finally, check on the golden bow. A solid plan, split with a solid team. However, nothing ever goes as planned because the gate suddenly shut, splitting everyone up. The plan remains. Dante and 4 of the sinners continue towards checking on the golden bow, but as the power came online, the LCA agents began to comb the facility. Now these guys are the best of the best, the Navy SEALs of Limbus Company. I mean, just look at them. These guys remind me of the Special Force in Ajin. But moving like Slender Man, Ryoshu's father appeared, one-shot every single one of them, and I just had to sit there like this. After glazing the LCA agents, they done turned them into power scaling goons. We get another flashback and find out that maybe the father kind of cares for Ryoshu, or at least not as abusive as the Thumb. But we cut to Moses' team and they ran into the middle. As you can see on the screen, the LCA agents are being used as power scaling goons again. But then this random girl just casually interrupts them, and apparently that's her dad. On the power fixing team, they had to run into the freakiest of the fingers, the ring. I mean, just look at this, bro. This guy was playing the forest while we were trying to survive. Back on our end, we find out that Ryoshu had a second abusive mom who hates children. And it's at this point where I question the House of Spider nurse father thing. Why do you even hire people who hate kids? Even if they are the best of the best, I'm pretty sure Ryoshu wouldn't have ran away if they weren't all abusive. Ryoshu was pissed at this lady and slit her tongue, which, unless she got medical help right away, should have killed her. But look at this demon. She was laughing and still taunting Ryoshu. However, back to reality, we see that the Pinky nurse father is still alive. But she's glitching out, making me think that maybe this one is a fake? We didn't have time to ponder because this is Ryo Walk 'em Down Shu. I don't know what the Pinky's about yet, but every single one of these guys always start with a fat shield. The fight isn't too bad, especially with... Hey, before you guys go crazy over the meta woman, that's the actual person. And she's part of the ring, meaning she's freaky. But not like, she's gonna harvest your organs, okay? The two apprentices fought because their motive began to clash. However, the nurse father was getting away with the bow, so we tried to give chase. But apparently, her sprint burst activated because she just straight up disappeared. This doesn't even count the fact that she's probably an old woman. Just look at her fit and tell me she's not tripping over herself. But we learn why Ryoshu never unsheathed her katana again. In order to use the blade, she has to sacrifice her memory. Her memories weren't all happy, but there was one person she cherished. Her baby. Right now, her daughter is hidden in a safe, far away from everything and anything. Now, when I first saw this, I thought she meant hidden somewhere safe, but you'll get it later. Continuing with the chase, we get to glimpse more into Ryoshu's fragmented past. Faust somehow knew Ryoshu's daughter and gave her a contract. In 2 years, she will help her obliterate the House of Spiders as well as reunite her with her daughter. Who do you want me to kill in return?
Not kill. Save.
Save?
Face the sin. Save the ego.
What?
Face the
I know what you said. What does that even... You know what? I haven't smoked in a while. So we run into Sora and Ravi, who, I'm not even gonna lie, is suspicious as hell. You're telling me that we just ran into two perfectly healthy individuals under the rubbles just like that. Have you seen what the ring is doing? It's not even the fact that my danger sense are tingling, but also cause they released this. This was the Caesar situation all over again. What's even funnier is that the Sinner also noticed how suspicious Sora and Ravi are and separated Dante from them. But we cut back to see how the other squad is doing, and my guy is not having a good time. Like, imagine fighting a 6'10" psychopath with human bones for weapons, and you know that thing will literally scramble you like an egg and fold you like an omelet. For art! The team was discussing on what to even do. They're pretty sure Dante can bring them back and even thought about taking off Dawn's stanky shoes. But not wanting to risk Dawn losing her mind and starting a zombie apocalypse, they went out to try and stall as best they could. Now, if I was in this position, I would have been like, oh yes, please, tell me more about this art exhibit. Cause I feel like the ring nurse father is the type to yap all day. I mean, you guys listen to me yap right now about my favorite games. Not that I'm a serial killer. You know what I mean. We don't get to see what happened and cut to cornering the Pinky nurse father. Sora just started spiraling. But before we can react, she randomly kills Ravi and made a lunge towards us. Ryoshu pushed Dante aside, but was still clipped on the shoulder. She then proceeded to tell us that she urgently need the leader gone. So what was the point of booming Ravi? I thought he was evil, but I guess he was just some random. Truly a classic Project Moon moment. This fight against Sora is pretty cool, but I genuinely had a better time running a 3 center comp rather than 4. However, right as the fight turned to our favor, she awakened her ego. And this character is straight up busted. Sora has an ego manifestation, Chinese Mang Shin power, and infinite unbreakables. She set her sight on us, being one of the few characters to have ever focused Dante in a fight. But right as I was about to scream for help, This guy shows up out of nowhere and completely cleans the floor with Sora. I don't know why he didn't kill her, but this is one of Dante's biggest L. They tried to justify it by saying Vesper's in a hurry, but we are standing right before the golden bow. You know, maybe just have him chuck his spear a few times since he can pull it back like Mjolnir. So Dante tries to figure out how we can deal with the Pinky Nurse Father. And they thought that maybe, just maybe, if we have all 12 sinners here, then we can beat her. This plan has got to be the dumbest one I've ever heard. We already know we can't hang with the Thumb Nurse Father, and just a month earlier, we couldn't even beat Ricardo. Dante unlocked a new ability, which I feel should have allowed us to use all 12 sinners at once, but I guess that's why it has a broken icon. This ability pulled all of the sinners' soul? Whatever it is, away from where they were. So we lay our eyes on the middle. The girl was chasing Moses' team the entire time, but the sinner healed over like a lifeless husk. So Moses used her analytical abilities and found out that yes, this kid is a gamer. What do gamers do? Side quests. So they unleashed the Flower Abno, but Hira didn't read the move list and ended up getting overwhelmed. However, just as we were about to take down the middle apprentice, the middle nurse father appears and one-shot him. Seeing that he's too OP, they resorted to throw every mob at him. I'm having the same reaction as Urza. What do we even do? Moses finished her analytical abilities on him, putting him in a stun lock. And this scene is just like the jumping of Muzan and Demon Slayer, because after Urza gave Engdu a new sword, Moses put some purple cloud around the nurse father and everyone went for the neck.
Yeah, that was a nice try, but you must have forgot I learned from young Midoriya. Though, I gotta admit, getting both your arms ripped off and still standing? You the realest one here.
And I don't even know if she missed or his neck is built like absolute Batman's quads, but he turns his sight to Moses.
But you, old hag, I'm about to mess you up so bad even K-Corp can't fix you.
Vesper came in just in time to save her, and you might be wondering where this guy was the whole time. Turns out he was getting evaluated at the Hana Association, which if you don't know is a place where fixers go for their ranks and quest. Vesper was finishing up some paperwork and is officially declared a color. But look at this guy's official name, the Yellow Harpoon. You got one of the coolest titles in the world and you went with the Yellow Harpoon. I can think of better names off my head. Listen, the Yellow Jacket, right? The Yellow Stinger, right? The Yellow... Okay, I'll stop. Over on the power team, they were playing DBD with the Nurse Father, but got disconnected at a terrible moment. I thought that the Ring Nurse Father would at least spend his time doing art on them. But no, he met the researchers. The two argue on who has a better plan to get out of this mess. But not wanting to see his boss go first, Martin's mind was already made up. He overclocked his ego and pulled the ring away, leaving Jotunheim to finish the repair. This part really made me feel a type of way, especially after the checkup intervallo. I just hope that Jotunheim gets get back. But now, Dante reawakened with all 12 sinners, and let me tell you, this fight is visually cool. This is like fighting Miyabi from ZZZ or Virgil from Devil May Cry. I cannot wait for this identity, but I have no idea how they're gonna balance it. She has the ability to apply these marks on you and after a few turns does an attack to consume all marks for a fat nuke. Unfortunately, that move is both an AoE attack and an unbreakable point. But after depleting her shield, she hits us with the We could not make her sweat. She didn't even bother looking at us. But then,
전력 완전 복구가 완료되었습니다.
the power returns. Hohenheim succeeded, but in doing so, the Pinky Nurse Father continues to berate her. Have this been a younger Ryoshu, then that would have been enough to slice her heart again. However, we know what a tight space you squeeze her into. A hole so small that only a child could ever hope to fit inside. The Pinky Nurse Father absolutely hates Ryoshu, to the point that I started to feel bad for her.
당신은 왜 항상 나를
With the golden bow secured, all of the Nurse Father retreated, leaving Ryoshu on the ground as the Index Nurse Father appears. I'm starting to get the feeling that maybe he's one of those that mean well but too messed up in the head to care correctly, because he gave us the password for the spiral, which is Ryoshu's birthday, while also telling her, "You might have placed third in your grade, but you'll always be my number one, honey bun." Which, by the way, is a reference to the strength chart during the checkup intervallo. But she does not give a damn right now. Answer the question. Well, here's a very simple answer to your very simple question. Why don't you come home and find out? The Index Nurse Father left, but not without leaving something behind. A safe. She hurried over, knelt down before the lock, and opened it with such tenderness that it differs from the person she was earlier. Her eyes filled with desperation as the rusted door opened, the trembling hand of a mother returning to her daughter. It was empty, as though someone had carved out a piece of reality from the world. Strength seems to drain out of Ryoshu's hand as the finger that tightly grips the door fell limp, as though the sheer weight of the emptiness spread from the tip of her fingers into every part of her body.
알아요.
엄마 이름은 어떻게 적는데?
자, 읽어봐.
Ryoshu's name is actually Yoshihide, but her child found Ryoshu to be easier and prettier, so she decided to keep that name. The power had restored. Everyone had regrouped. It's been 4 days since Ryoshu fainted from presumably shock. In the midst of her falling in and out of consciousness, what seems like all of Limbus Company had gathered to HQ. The Super Squad is here to redeem themselves after that embarrassing display. Alyssa is alive, and despite being researchers, Hohenheim joined the raid, equipping himself with the Big Bird Ego suit, while Alyssa joined with the Ardor Blossom. I hope he unleashed Apocalypse Birds on those finger bastards. The spirit was high for the Moses team as they too joined the raid, adding an additional color alongside Bamboo Hat Kim. The LCA, LCB, LCD, and LCE assault team preparation is complete. Ryoshu, it's time.
괜찮아. 기다리고 있을게, 엄마.
If this video does well, I'll make a part 2 for the final part of Canto 9. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in Enfield. Okay, damn big.